windows are open. My allergies are acting out.
My polar of a pug dog.
Hello, everyone. It's February 19th. Guys, guess what? It's
Catchup
season
episode?
3. It's season 3. It's the Catchup. You know what season 3 means?
Oh, we've been doing this a long time.
First episode, season 3. That means it's the Catchup boys. Someone said it. We're covered in ketchup right now. We're wrestling around
Heinzman or Huntsman?
in ketchup.
Hi,
Who uses
on.
fucking Hunt's ketchup?
Jesus.
I mean, I imagine it's a regional thing.
Must be for fucking weirdos, maybe.
I use banana ketchup. I don't know what you're all about.
You use banana ketchup? Like
Yeah.
exclusively?
It's an ethnic thing.
Okay, fair enough. It is we're Bliss Point, if you weren't aware. A podcast and website serving up music discussion. Hello, news, show, and album reviews, and more. My name is Jordan Kaufman, and I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts Billy Gatewood
Hello.
and Paul Kolb.
Hi.
And we're gonna jump right into what we've been listening to. And if you weren't aware, the Catchup is kind of like a quick recap of pretty much everything that we've missed. Because we're like a month behind-ish. We've been posting album of the year stuff, all that stuff. All the goodies. So now we're catching up. And first part of what we've been listening to is shows. And I went to 3 shows.
Wow.
Billy went to one of those. First up, Corey Wong, Scalp Mole the Hill at 930 Club. Corey Wong, if you're unaware, is a guitarist who is part of Wolfpack, kind of part-time / full-time. But he also does his own solo stuff. So he came out with 2 new records in the last month or two. So he's going on tour. It was a fun little tour. He's a funk guitarist, so he had a great backing band. He just put on a really fun show. Opener Scott Mulvihill is a excellent upright bass player who has a crazy set of pipes. And his first song he just did he and the upright bass and did this really cool funky upright bass line, and then the rest of the set was like him playing on a guitar, and it was kind of boring. So I kind of wish he stuck with the upright bass stuff, but Corey was excellent, and so the show sounded great because it's fucking 9:30 and it was awesome. Origami Angel.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw 3 local emo bands and 1 band from Chicago at a VFW. If you're unaware, VFW is a veteran of foreign wars, I believe. It's like a hangout space for veterans. It usually has a bar in it, and it's like a hangout space. But it's kind of like a community center too. And this is honestly the biggest show I've ever seen being hosted out of VFW before. But I think it's because all these bands are local, and Origami Angel kind of blew up last year.
Right.
Is in the midst of blowing up.
And rightfully so.
Yeah, and they, if you haven't checked it out, they're on our top 10.
That's right.
Or top 16, rather. But anyway, so we watched Sweet Peach first. What did you think?
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was Sweet Peach was cool. Great, opener for a
Great
local show.
Lo-fi emo band. Like, the sound was, perfectly shitty because it's a VFW and, speakers are cutting out left and right. And, but the crowd was really into it.
The crowd was super into it.
That stuff is always interesting to me because this kind of revealed to me of how much of a burgeoning emo scene there is here in DC. Yeah. And I never thought there was something like that. Yeah. Specifically in the Fairfax area, because this VFW was in Tyson's.
Yeah, it was in old town, basically, McLean.
Right. And this is apparently where all these bands grew up or are still growing up and still play, and most of these kids are still in college or not even in college yet, and fucking wild.
Yeah, talking like that, and think that's the reason they had the show when they had it was because everybody was just home for college break and they could throw a show together.
Right.
And had 3 local bands that were able to come play, and luckily Origami Angel had just gotten off a tour, so they were there, ended up headlining. And like you said, it's just a cool experience, a cool vibe when none of the instruments are mic'd, none of the drums are mic'd. It's literally just a PA vocal. And it reminds you of high school.
Does it bring you back, Billy?
Absolutely. So
hopefully the sound was better.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
Our sound was better in high school for sure.
I think Yeah, so I really enjoyed all the bands. So we saw Sweet Peach, Commander Salamander, Hospital Bracelet, and then Origami Angel closed.
Mm-hmm.
Hospital Bracelet, small band from Chicago, I believe, led by this girl with incredible vocals, just really, really strong vocal style. We'll get into one of her singles later, but Commander Salamander was cool. They were
fun.
Power punk, power emo,
just
something
played
like
a
that.
really hard 20 minutes. Like...
Yeah, that was the other thing. They
Yeah.
all played like maybe 20-minute
Yeah.
sets, and they fucking ripped through them
Right.
like crazy. So it was a cool show.
Yeah, it was fun.
Very, very cool. I want to keep my eyes peeled for more stuff like
Absolutely.
that. And then I went to, there's a brewery in Percival called Detroit Theory. Every year they throw their anniversary festival, and it's called Dawn of a Dark Day. And in addition to the beer festival, they also have a metal show. And this year's metal show was headlined by Inter Arma, which also had a huge year last year. And then Ilsa, Basilisk, and Sick Deer. Sick Deer is a DC metal band. Basilisk is like a blackened thrash metal band. Like, think if Metallica still had balls. Like, that's what they sounded like.
Ooh, hot takes over here.
And then Ilsa was like sludge kind of doom metal. And then Inter Arma was just ballsy death metal. And I know, Billy, you're not a huge fan, but Inter Arma sounded fucking incredible. And I sent you a picture, but like they went all out for like professional sound setup and like digital monitor or digital mixing board and like everything. And they sounded great. The crowd was really into it. It was a really neat show. I was really, really impressed by the show that they put on, and all the bands came out. It sounded amazing, and we're really grateful and really like kind. Like you could meet them after the show. Like it was small enough that there was like maybe 5 people just coming to talk to bands, and like super thankful, and everybody's super cool. It was just a really cool reminder that like, hey, like metal isn't just a bunch of fucking weirdos. Like these are nice, cool people that just happen to play really heavy music. So it was neat.
Well, you have sold me on it, because that was my thing, was I was going to let you go this year, and you were going to report back to me and let me know how it was, and you sold me on it. So
maybe next year there'll be a
Next
lineup
year.
you'll be more interested in.
Well, even if it's not, I think I would check it out.
Sure.
And there's a lot of metal that I enjoy live much more than I enjoy
honestly,
recorded.
For the price, like you could not beat it. I think I paid $25.
Right.
All you can drink during the show, and you get to see 4 bands, one of which is a huge up and coming metal band. So it was very, very cool. All right, with that, let's jump into singles.
All right.
We're gonna run down this real quick.
How many do we have? Like 135?
Pretty fucking close. So if I think I'll stop where I remember you guys liking them, or at least being outwardly vocal.
Okay.
So first track, It Looks Sad, Car, very howdy, very emo, very lo-fi, very acoustic, very nice. Caro, Fall Apart. That was the kind of British indie, local natives-ish.
Mm-hmm.
They were really good. Aoife, Nessa, Francis, Libra. This was like that beachy 60s soul kind of track. That was really cool.
I remember the first 3 were all really solid.
Yes,
Those
very
were all
good.
really
Polaris.
Polaris, yeah.
Yeah, Billy, big fan.
Oh, man,
New
I don't
tracks.
know how I missed that they put out new stuff, because they're one of my favorite metalcore bands.
Which is funny, because I'd never heard of them before, and
Oh.
this came up on my YouTube recommendations.
Yeah.
So they have 2 new tracks, HYPERMANIA and LANDMINE. I think they have a new album coming out this week.
And I am stoked.
Yeah, these tracks are very great, very much Under Oath vibes, but like good Under Oath vibes. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Very tight, very good metalcore. Code Orange, Swallowing the Rabbit Hole. They released another single that we didn't really like as much. Swallowing the Rabbit Hole has
My girl
is allegedly featuring Nicole Dollanganger.
It's not allegedly, it's a fact.
She's like barely in
Yeah,
there.
you kept pointing her out, but I was kind of humoring you when I said I could hear it.
She's in there, but
You can hear
yeah,
it.
but good industrial
I-
metalcore.
yeah,
Like
I think she is going to be sprinkled throughout the entire album.
yes, I'm very much looking forward to that record. I cannot wait. Fortet, Baby, featuring Ellie Goulding.
So good.
And I pulled this because, yeah, obviously, I mean, I love Fortet, but it featuring Ellie Goulding, so I knew that Billy was going to be involved. But it surprisingly is not like just a straight up vocal feature. It's a chopped and sampled vocal feature, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's maybe not explicitly stated that it's featuring Ellie Goulding.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a great quartet track.
Mm-hmm.
Little Dragon, Hold On. Big fans in this room. Great bass line. Super disco, kind of funky
It was
pop.
super disco.
Yeah, it was very nice. Gorillaz. I know Philly's not a huge
You
fan.
said you were going to stop if there wasn't a consensus of.
Hey, I love this track.
I know Paul
And I'm
likes this
somebody
track.
who hasn't been hot on them in quite some time. I was recently told to retry Plastic Peach.
Yeah, I think I want to go back and listen to Plastic Beach because apparently it's good again. But
Okay, buddy.
I'm excited, particularly because they're doing a new project called Song Machine, in which every couple months or maybe every month they're releasing a new track in Gorillaz fashion with rap features and stuff like that. And that has me the most excited because I think that is the best extension of their style because their last couple albums have not been great. So Altopalo, Honey. I know you guys like this track quite a bit.
I like this one a lot. This one stood out to me.
I don't know what style you would describe this as. It's like, I don't know, popish, electronica, like, very good. Porter Robinson, Get Your Wish. Very good track. Very poppy.
Very Madion.
Very Madion.
Porter Robinson, but that's okay.
Yes.
It's very good.
Yes, it is. R.A.P. Ferreira, Doldrums. It's a great lo-fi jazz rap track. Guy that kind of turns Lyrical Miracle on its head and kind of makes it cool again to rap fast. Meek Mill, back with 2 new tracks, Letter to Nipsey featuring Roddy Ricch, and Believe featuring Justin Timberlake.
They're both so good, but Believe
It's a really solid track.
is incredible.
Yes, the Justin Timberlake
That's
feature
how you use him.
is a steal, is really, really good, and just a solid conscious rap track. CJ Fly, Show You, Static Selector on the boards, doing incredible production. Gangstar, Bad Name remix featuring Method Man and Redman. It's another great jazz rap track. Just starting off 2019 strong with the rap. What'd you say?
No brainer.
No
Just a real
brainer.
good
Yeah.
track.
Aesop Rock, Rug Wave, huge fan, very excited. Hope he puts out a new record this year. Joji, Run, very surprising.
This was pretty good.
I'm glad you liked it.
You two can enjoy that.
I've always been a Joji stan. I think this is his best foot forward.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see what he does next. Pantha Du Prince, Pius and Tacet, very Bonobo-like.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little more understated than Bonobo, but very organic.
Yeah,
kind of
more emotive.
Yes, absolutely. Thundercat, 2 new tracks. Black Qualls featuring Steve Lacy and Steve Arrington, and Dragon Ball Durag. Black Qualls is definitely the better of the 2 tracks, but I am very excited for a new Thundercat record.
He's such a filthy musician. It's
He
just,
is.
I don't even understand how he does those fills and does a lot of pocket playing and
Yeah, he's
sings.
fucking incredible, and he does that on every single track. The Strokes, gigantic fan right here, big guy.
We just found out today. Never heard it before.
Yeah,
but
never-
biggest Strokes fan.
Never biggest Strokes fan. Do 2 new tracks, At the Door, which is like a weird humdrum synth track, and then Bad Decisions, which is very much a Strokes track, but very good. Billie Eilish, No Time to Die, the new 007 theme song. I was avoiding the song like the plague because I don't give a fuck about either of these things, but I heard it and I was blown away.
It's so good.
It's very, very good.
Oh,
I'm very
man.
impressed at both her vocals and the production.
It's
Just
wild.
it's great up and down.
Yeah.
Trophy Eyes, Figure 8, featuring fucking Seth Rollins in the music
Yeah,
video.
who knew?
Absolutely wild. But it's a great track.
Yeah, it's a good track.
It's a fun track.
It really drives, and that video is awesome.
And you said that this is a very different direction for that.
So
correct?
Trophy Eyes used to be much heavier, not hardcore, but a little
Sure.
bit more punky, and they've just kind of turned pop.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good. It's a good direction. It doesn't sound cheesy or like overly produced.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice pivot. Hot Mulligan, who we've seen live. I know I've seen them once or twice, and you've probably seen them
Probably
double that,
6 times.
yeah, triple that. New song called Backyard. Definitely seems like them, but with more money, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's super good.
Hospital Bracelet, which we talked about briefly. She has a new track called Sober Haha JK Unless, which I love to say so much. I think she's great. Her performance is great. I think the guitars could use a good clean washing. I don't know what's going on there or whether it's intentional or not, but they sound very out of tune. But it's a great track.
I'm excited to see what she does. She was really
absolutely cool. I could see her getting some good money and getting a good sign. And then last one, Charmer Slumber.
Yeah, I was excited for this one.
Yeah, it's kind of the vocals remind me of Turnover, but it's more punky and upbeat than say a Turnover
heavier
is.
guitar driven.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I do like that mix a lot, and I could see them being pretty successful in that.
I'm glad. I was really not sure what you were going to think of that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Cool.
All right, so now that we're down to the albums that we enjoyed, normally we break it up into shout-outs, new releases, and albums of the week, but because we have so many freaking albums to talk about, we're just going to run round robin style and just go around to everyone's picks. So I will start first, and then I'll jump to Billy, and then Billy will hand it off to Paul, and then we'll start all over again.
Sounds good.
And yeah, so first one, Mick Jenkins put out a new EP called the Circus EP. Just great jazz rap from one of my contemporary favorites. It was really solid.
All right. Dude I'd never heard of, Essinger, put out an album called After Dark. It's like a weird multi-genre synthwave.
Okay.
So, like, think of...
Very
like,
Billy?
Yes, think of, like, pieces of, like, The Midnight and Gunship, but also, like, one song's just straight up metal, and there's, like, a lot of, like, screaming vocals in the back.
So my interest is piqued.
And like, the build-ups are kind of, like, dubstep-ish.
Wow, they just made it in a lab for you.
So... It can be a little cheesy, a little corny at times, but also it's not your typical build drop.
Sure,
it's got some cool industrial sounds.
Put some effort into the song structures.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
I like it. Mr. Paul?
I guess I'm gonna have to be the one. Tame Impala is the toast of the town right now. They came out with the Slow Rush, and everyone seems to love it.
Yeah. What do you think?
You know, I was never quite into them, and I'm hearing that it's a really different sound than he's normally doing, but for whatever reason, this is the first time it resonated with me a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's something I'm reaching for all the time, but it really suits its purpose.
Yeah.
This nice, laid-back kind of sound.
Breezy, like, 80s pop-ish.
And you made a good point about him earlier. It's almost like a really accessible, slight psychedelic sound without being far out enough for people to... not accept it.
Absolutely. It's like Burning Man, but now, where like people can buy in and like enjoy psychedelics from like a mainstream perspective.
But if I could oversimplify, just say if you're looking for some really chill kind of background music, check it out.
Absolutely.
Can I just add a little piece?
Yes.
It's not good.
I love that Billy's like, hey, can I add one thing? And you like think it's gonna be like very nice and like very well thought out, and then it's always just it fucking blows. It fucking sucks.
I just don't get it. Like we
I'm
had this
with
conversation,
you.
and I want to just bring it up again.
I also don't understand why people blow their loads over every single Tame Impala record. I agree with you.
Okay.
I think it's a good record. I think Paul and I both agree that it's a fun record. It's not necessarily incredible or mind blowing. So I will give you that.
Okay.
So Corey Wong, I talked about briefly already. Elevator music for an elevator mood. Elevated mood. He put that out this month or maybe last month. I don't remember. Fans of Wolfpack will enjoy this. It's funky, humorous, and uplifting.
Cool. This is one I hadn't heard of before. Asgir. Asgir, I don't know. He's an Icelandic singer, songwriter, with kind of like a Bon Iver Sugar Roast kind of vibe.
Okay. That seems very Icelandic.
And so fun thing is he put out an album called Bury the Moon, but also he put out one in Icelandic, the same album just in Icelandic called Sat. So he did it two ways with English vocals and with Icelandic vocals.
Okay.
And both are really good. I actually listened to the Icelandic one first, and I was like, I don't know what he's saying, but this is kind of cool. Like, this is pretty good. And then like a week later, I realized, oh wow, he actually did this in English too. So I got to listen
That's
to
cool.
actually what he was saying.
Okay.
So it was fun.
I want to check that out.
Yeah.
That's neat.
I'd never heard of Family Band before. It's the one that is spelled as one word and removes all of the letter A's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I think other than like maybe a 2014 release some time ago, I hadn't really heard much about him before. But it's kind of like a pretty accessible sort of folk rock sound. But there's moments on there that are a little more interesting. There's a track called Fame that has a really Pixies kind of vibe.
Okay.
But I'd say it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah. Mac Miller, unfortunately, rest in peace. I will always be sad that he is now no longer with us because he's a super talented producer. But his family, I think, released his final record that he had quote unquote finished. I think they maybe made some finishing touches. So it's Circles. I think it stands as a great posthumous record. I'm not a huge fan of his more recent like soul R&B direction. The production is just great, and it's good to hear Mac one last time. And it really, if you're a fan of Mac, it really is touching and sad to kind of hear it and be like, fucking wow, like the dude's gone. So
it's interesting because I was actually somebody that really liked the more recent stuff. I didn't like getting away from verses as much, but that Tiny Desk concert he did really shortly before he passed, or at least they released it then, really changed kind of my view of him.
Interesting.
But definitely more the direction on this album. But I think it's like you said, it's a cool posthumous release.
Yeah.
I'm usually a little against that if too much time has passed.
Absolutely.
But it sounds like he was mostly done with it, so...
Yeah, fair game. Mr. Billy?
All right. Spanish Love Songs put out an album called Brave Faces, Everyone. Standard emo in the vein of, like, Wonder Years and Free Throw. So if you like those two bands, you'll like Spanish Love Songs.
I do love me some Free Throw.
Fun fact, Spanish Love Songs is opening for the Wonder Years and Free Throw on their next tour.
They're really not doing anything different
Not
there.
branching out at all.
Cool. Hey, you like these? One if you had their child too.
Denzel Curry, man, he's getting stronger.
Fuck, man.
Miami area rapper Denzel Curry teamed up.
Billy's not allowed to have a shout out in this section because he's just going to be a hater.
No.
It's so fucking good.
Is this
excellent.
Is this a whole new album?
Loving it.
It is. So
didn't he just put something out like?
So it's an EP.
Okay.
With the production is entirely done by Kenny Beats. So if you're not familiar, Kenny Beats is this Wonder Kid producer who has become gigantic in the last couple of years. But anyway,
it's just I can't recommend enough.
Yeah,
Alligator Swag, y'all.
Yeah, we'll check it out because I liked his feature on one of the songs we listened to at the end of the year last year.
Okay, I know you didn't really like his record. He really channels DMX and ODB on this EP. And the production is just fucking wild.
Okay.
Like, it's so good. So speaking of good hip-hop, Lyrics to Go, Volume 1 by Coda the Friend. I saw this on a subreddit that I follow. It's a short little sweet, jazz rap kind of thing. It's very, very lyrical focused. I think you might enjoy it, Billy.
Okay.
Production's really, really nice and some good bars. It is super short. So I think each song is like maybe 2 minutes or less. So it's like a quick, like, just hear my thoughts on this track, and it's neat.
Cool. Georgia, Seeking Thrills. I think this was a big one for the beginning of the year. She's like a session drummer turned, like, basically pop vocalist.
That makes sense.
So she wrote, recorded, and produced this entire album. It's basically your typical, like, girl synth pop, like Churches and Robin. To me, she sounds a lot like Tegan and Sara, like vocally.
Sure, yeah.
So it's that perfect mix of like the Tegan and Sara vocals with that synth pop that Robin or Churches would give you.
Never Let You Go is so fucking good.
It's so good.
That track is great. I really wanted to love this record. There's a couple tracks on there that just kind of lost me, but a lot of it is so fucking good.
Yeah, honestly, like getting through the first track was one of my hardest. Like,
really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I think the front half of the record is like my favorite part.
The second through like sixth are like so good, but just getting through that first track I think was my biggest barrier. But it's really good.
Alexander Savior released The Archer. I kind of have a hard time pinning her down because her background is very much just kind of like a pop rock songwriter, but Sometimes she gets into this moody, dreamy, psychedelic desert rock kind of vibe, even though it's a little more subtle. But highly recommend this one. I'd say skip the opening track, jump straight into Howl or Saving Grace. It's interesting.
Okay. Obong Jr. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. You may know him. You most likely know him from featuring on the Danny Brown record last year. He was featured 2 or 3 times. But he's got his own EP. Very, very cool drum production and super unique style. I was expecting like reggae or like reggaeton because of his voice and his accent, but he actually puts on some cool like R&B kind of influenced stuff. So it's neat.
Cool. Poolside, Low Season, American daytime disco with like a French influence, kind of in line with like Parcels, who we listened to I think last year or the year before.
Sure.
Well, I guess the year before. It's just your typical French disco, but they're American.
I like French disco.
I think you might like it.
Okay. All
Like
right.
the French have been holding disco up for
Let's
years.
check it out. I'll check it out.
So David Keenan is an Irish singer-songwriter who has a really cool kind of storytelling style. If you've ever been listening to Glenn Hansard and thought this is not Irish enough, not nearly, you should check
All of
him
it.
out. Yeah, it's hard to pin down again, but if you like that kind of folk music, and I'm not talking about the touristy bullshit like the typical bar songs you'd hear as a tourist, just check it out. It's really unique stuff.
Bonnie Light Horseman by Bonnie Light Horseman is a supergroup. I'm not familiar with the 2 dudes in it, but I know Anais Mitchell. She's pretty famous folk vocalist.
Sounds like a real super group.
Yeah, right. But they put out a beautiful like rendition of like ancient folk tunes and kind of their own spin on folk tunes and some new songs. And it's just it's a beautifully well done record.
Cool. Caspian, On Circles. It's been
You
like
like it?
4.5 years since they put anything out.
Yeah.
I love this album.
Really?
It's like perfectly paced like ambient rock. There's a vocal feature from Pianos Become the Teeth,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds like a piano.
That's my favorite song, and I was like, yeah, that's
I
probably
mean, because
why.
it sounds just like
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I love the pacing of it. I love the just experimental vibe of it. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but just
They have a cool sound.
Yeah.
They do a good blend of like. My issue with post rock in general is that it's the same like crescendo, and then big, emotive moment.
and I love
But
it.
it always works
I
every
love
fucking
it.
time. Yeah.
And
So,
they're the best at it. Like
yeah,
it's
they're very
just-
good. They're very
yeah.
good.
So I ran into a band from Australia called Dune Rats. They came out with an album called Hurry Up and Wait. It's like a really mid-90s skate punk kind of sound, which I have a weakness for. But I definitely say check that out.
Andy Schauf, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, put out a new record called The Neon Skyline. A lot of people kind of putting a lot of praise on this record. I think it's great hangover pop from a guy who has a knack for catchy songwriting and diverse arrangements. It's a pretty good little record.
All right.
It's nice.
So this is my last one, and this is, I think, everything that you wanted from Caspian. I think this album will have for you. It's Holy Fawn, The Black Moon. It's a crazy 3-song EP.
Okay.
Ambient post rock,
Mm-hmm.
but just I think it's gonna have that experimental touch that you want out of Caspian that you didn't get.
You're teasing me, Billy.
I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it a lot.
What if I hate it? What are you gonna give me if I hate it?
I'm gonna quit. It's fine.
Okay, cool. All right, you heard that first. Billy's gonna quit if I hate
I'm
it.
that confident. We're gonna listen to it right after this.
Sure.
So K-Boy released Night in the Park, Kiss in the Dark. It's a bunch of 80s flavored pop anthems. I really thought it would resonate with Billy, but...
What is it?
Cave Boy.
I don't think I've heard of it.
Yeah, I know. That's what we arrived at earlier. Moving on.
Did we have this conversation?
Anyway, no, I was not in this conversation, I don't think. If I was, I don't remember it. Anyway,
Okay.
Destroyer, the guy with the very pretentious vocals, but the very cool background
God,
track.
I hated it.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, it's terrible.
I know. So he has a new record called Have We Met? And biggest caveat here is that if you don't like the vocals, you're probably going to hate it.
What else is there?
I think if you can get used to the vocals or at least slightly appreciate them, it's a very cool, dark 80s pop record with very cool instrumentation, and it's just super cinematic and very, very cool. I think throughout, like the instrumentation, it just wowed me from front to back. But like I said before, the vocals are a little much, and the lyrics can be a little cheesy, a little pretentious. So if you can't get over that, then avoid it. But otherwise, give it a shot.
I love Square Pusher, guys. And he came up
Hey.
with Be Up Hello. I see that Jordan agrees with me.
I wanted... You're a Square Pusher guy. I'm not a Square Pusher guy. I wanted to talk to you about this.
Hey, man, you probably got 50 more picks after this. This is my last one.
Yeah. So did you like it?
No, I put it on here because it's... No,
I don't know.
I really love it. We were talking before about electronic musicians who have a tendency to kind of use the same sound palette over and over, but when he does it, I don't mind. Folks that aren't familiar, he's kind of a pioneer of electronic music in the UK. Started it back when it really took a lot of work to get sounds out of analog devices and things like that. Adept bass player and just like all-around good producer. And this is just more of the same. It's kind of strange because none of the things I'm about to say really relate to his style, but I found that people that are into 8-bit sound really like his stuff when I recommend it. Kind of odd. And then anyone who's into The Prodigy probably can find some vibes on it.
Yeah, it sounds super old school to me, even though I'm not super familiar with that world, like 90s electronica and like that stuff, but
yeah,
it sounds like it would soundtrack in an English rave somewhere, you know?
Yeah, it's actually a kid we used to play local shows with who turned me on to it.
Okay.
And he passed away later, so it's just like the main thing I always remember about the guy.
Yeah. That's cool. So this portion of the podcast is me running down the 30 other picks that I have. So I'll try to be quick. Tycho, new EP, Outer Sunset. It's good, and he's not bad. Yeah. So wouldn't that be nice? You know? Texas Sun EP featuring Khruangbin and Leon Bridges. Paul, I think you would enjoy this a lot. Khruangbin's really great, and I think you would like Leon Bridges.
I love the one instrumental track on all their records. Super good.
Yeah, it's.
I'm kidding. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah. Haley Williams.
How did I forget about that?
I don't know, man. Pedals for Armor 1.
Sleep at the wheel over here.
So I think we briefly talked about this. Yeah. Teaser tracks, amazing. Very, very good. Simmer, it's so amazing. It's an excellent track. Leave It Alone, I think, is also very good. The rest of the EP, I think, is pretty good. I think it falls off a little bit. It has me a little worried that this is just half the record that she's about to put out in a couple months. So we'll see. If it's just a teaser and it's all different songs, maybe a couple songs from the EP, I'm totally on board. Overcast, Try Again. The group is called Overcast. The album is Try Again. Short little lo-fi jazz rap record a la recent Earl Sweatshirt. Carpet Cocoon by Ice Blink. It's a neat little ambient record with lots of organic instrumentation. Golden Horde by Phalanx. Brutal power death metal. It's very good. 2017 to 2019 by Against All Logic. So this record I don't think is as infectious or good as the last record. It's way weirder and out there. I think the production's still amazing. Floral LP by Floral is some sweet-ass lo-fi math rock. Eminem, Mr. Paul.
Oh, we're not going to get away without talking about that.
So, hot take alert.
So I posed this question to Billy earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think his skill or songwriting or anything has dropped off even a step. But there's something about he's just... You know, you mentioned, you joked he's kind of an old fogey. It's just not his time anymore. Billy was talking about maybe some possible social aspects to it. But at the end of the day, he's not gotten any worse, but people just seem to care less.
I think he's surrounded himself with so many yes men that he cannot see past the shitty beats and production that he continues to use on like the last 3 fucking records. Like, and I'll give him this. This album actually has some of the best songs he's put out in quite a while. Like, Darkness is very, very good. You Gon' Learn featuring Royce da 5'9" and Black Thought, Q-Tip. That's a great track. Lock It Up, which has a feature and hook from Anderson .Paak. Great track. But the rest of the album is, like, fucking garbage. Like, the dude, I don't know. I think he's just continually pissing on his own legacy, and I don't understand why. I don't get it. New Pine Grove record.
That came out?
That transition.
It did come out. Did I
listen to it?
Maybe.
Did I just think it was the last record they put out?
Yeah, and that's kind of my thing here is, for whatever reason, I don't find myself getting into it.
I paid a private contractor to sneak in and make you listen to it.
I think it's...
What's it called?
It's a
Marigold.
Marigold.
Yeah.
Maybe I did listen to it.
I think it's more electric.
I did listen to it.
Things.
I did.
I remember.
I do remember.
Yeah.
It was that remember.
Yeah,
Full.
it's fine.
Whew.
It's fine.
Rememberful, right?
As
memorable.
Yeah.
Is that the word?
Rememberful. It's the same
We should
thing.
record later at night.
Yeah, they're
I'm
so
so
good.
tired.
They're making you forget words. Poppy. I disagree.
We knew this was coming.
Oh, it's so fucking good. I don't care what
I
either of
told
you
you we should
say.
have got tickets to that
We
show.
should have.
But
I didn't think it was gonna sell out.
Let
What do
me
you
ask you
mean you
this:
didn't think it was-
we've
it's
seen
U-Haul.
the utter dominance of Billie Eilish.
It's U-Haul. I thought it was 9:30.
No, it's U-Haul.
Do you think
300
dark
people.
poppy acts are like the thing now?
Oh,
It's the new
I hope
wave?
so.
Poppy's just gonna.
Poppy's
blow
way
up?
better than
Could you
Billy.
imagine Poppy at U-Haul? How
Oh my
insane
God.
is that show going to
There's
be?
probably gonna be fake blood in there.
Yeah.
I totally guarantee it. Black by Trico. Paul, I think you would really like this a lot. Girl-driven math rock from Japan. Amazing production, super tight performances. Catchy moments too, which is kind of surprising.
What's funny is those three things describe a number of bands I like.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, but they're fucking great and they've been around for a while. Dan Deacon, who I've
Interesting.
never been huge
Yeah.
into, this record blew it out of the water for me.
Really?
Yeah, very, very good vocals as well as his normal like maximalist like super sequence production. I watched a video about how he made the record today, and like he created a robotic drummer and sequenced drums and sequenced real live pianos and
Cool.
everything. Like he's super talented.
I didn't
Very,
know
very
he
cool.
put anything else out.
Yeah.
He's local too. He's from
Yeah,
Baltimore. Right?
Yeah, so he is very cool. If you have any interest in that sort of music, definitely check it out. Frances Quinlan, singer for Hop Along, came out with a new solo record. It's amazing. I love her so much. Her voice is super unique. Fight Cloud. Full disclosure, I went to high school with this band. I don't really know them personally, but they just came out with a new record. They broke up a couple years ago. The record is awesome. It's very, very good. Excellent math rock with some like sweet, wistful, clean vocals.
Oh man, go check that out.
Yeah, don't really have much to complain about. It's just super enjoyable with great production. And then Beach Bunny, Honeymoon, new record came out last Friday. I love this vocalist, and I think the guitars are great. I'm surprised you don't really like it that much.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. That just didn't do it for me.
I wonder if you're just overly exposed to that type of music, because I'm not big into the girl rock that often.
Mhm.
Like you're the one that brings that stuff to the table usually, and this just sounded super refreshing to me and catchy and just punchy, and I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I really wanted to like it. Just couldn't.
Yeah, that's fair. And that's fucking it.
Woo!
That's all she wrote. That's 300 things later. And if you're curious about the singles and albums we talked about today, there will be playlists up on the site containing all the singles and the best tracks from this week's everything. Visit bliss.house. That's bliss.haus for all of our content. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Like, subscribe, follow us, send gifts to our houses. You know the deal. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I love all of you. And remember, that's bliss.house. Bliss.haus. You're pointing your fingers at me like you have something to say.
Oh no, I was just gonna say we're gonna go listen to Holy Fawn, and you'll know in 2 weeks if Jordan liked it or not, based on whether I'm
That'll be
here.
the first thing we say. We'll say it right now. We're going to talk about Holy Fawn in 2 weeks. Got it. Put that to tape.
We'll see if we.
Oh wait, hold up! I found 50 more picks.
Oh,
Here.
did you? You've got it. Hold on. The tape's running out, Paul. Quick. Oh, shit.